Hi everyone, Kelt here, bringing you my thoughts on the British royal family, and today I'll be talking about Harry and Meghan in Colombia and the things that stood out. There's a video doing the rounds on social media whereby Meghan almost throws herself on the Vice President's husband, hugging him tightly and rubbing his back, but his wife somehow knows what is happening, although she is facing in the opposite direction. Must have eyes in the back of her head, because she spins around and lunges forward towards Meghan and Harry. Harry sort of pushes Meghan back, but is acting as though he was shaking the guy's hand. The Vice President, I think, saw the expression on someone's face that she was facing. She glances over and I think she's aware that Meghan is heading towards someone, and I think the realisation that it was her husband hit her at the same time she saw the expression on the person's face that she was facing, because that person was looking in that direction. So I think it was a combination of those two things. The Vice President continues to stand in front of her husband with her back against him, totally blocking any possible further contact. She looks as if she's pushing him back with her back. Then it appears as if Harry drags his wife out by the hand to avoid any more episodes. One thing to ask is, why did Meghan feel that she had to hug the Vice President's husband? Because they had already met the day before. The next time they appear, you can see that the Vice President is very wise to Meghan and has her husband well away from her. Then we have the time that Harry was being called by people over and over again. Music was playing, they were wearing costumes, and the excitement was tangible. All you can hear is them calling Harry, Harry, over and over again. At this time, Meghan is nowhere to be seen, but you can just about spot her amongst a group of people in the corner of the room. Upon hearing them call Harry's name, she prizes herself away from these people she's talking to and starts heading towards Harry, because there is no way she can let him have all of the attention. Someone is still speaking to her, but she's obviously desperate to get over there and pulls herself away. And then she appears to be waving her arms in some sort of dance, but she's actually signalling to people as to where they should go. Total control freak, trying to get the focus and the cameras on her. But still, there was no one calling out her name. That must have hurt. And then we have the dancing with other women, where she was wearing a very stiff-looking dress, a straight up and down style with no shape, and material so thick and stiff that it had zero movement or swing to it. In fact, the Queen's former dresser, Caroline Holden, referred to it being like an ironing board cover. She also criticised most of her other outfits, including the one where she was not only wearing two different types of brown, but the skirt, or rather the pants, had sweat stains in the groin, and the shirt had sweat stains under the armpits. The shirt was a lovely Victoria Beckham silk shirt, and the satin pants in a spice colour were not even a good clash, because some colours, as we know, can clash well. But the difference with these ones was that one brown was a golden brown and the other was a pinky brown, and it was actually uncomfortable to look at. Beautiful garments separately, but together absolutely no way. So I wonder if they were chosen on purpose. The attractive translator, who is sitting next to Harry, caused a lot of interest. Meghan has always said that she speaks fluent Spanish, so this sort of backfired on her because Harry was given a translator who obviously had to sit quite close to him so that he could hear her. This was also why he had his arm around the back of her chair, but it did look very cosy. This annoyed Meghan, and I heard that she's intent on being Harry's translator now to avoid situations like this in the future. She did attempt to translate for him, and they both made quite a big deal about it. But she is very limited from what I've heard from Spanish speakers. Very limited. I don't know how it will work due to this. Those who are fluent and native Spanish speakers all said that Meghan sounded as if she was reading from a translator app, and that also she did not have an Argentinian accent, which she would have, considering she claims that that is where she actually learnt Spanish. It was said that she had a mix of Colombian accent with Spanish from Spain. The Colombian she must have picked up a bit from the people she was with during that trip. The rest from an online translator app. There's also video of them dancing, and they actually didn't look as much like idiots as they usually do, and I believe that this was due to them having obviously put in a lot of practice beforehand. I was told that they took dance classes before this tour so that they could shine in some way. Harry does have natural rhythm and Meghan doesn't, but as much as I hate to admit it, they did get away with this, mostly due to Harry being able to move to the music at the right time, and he sort of led Meghan. The comments from the Colombians online are quite negative, and some of them mocking Harry and Meghan. One of them, by Viral24, a Spanish channel, said that the dance that was presented to the Duke and Duchess of Sussex by the Vice President does not exist in any of the indigenous cultures of Colombia. It was an improvised invention, according to organisers. Sounds as fake as they are. At least William and Catherine actually danced the same as the people around them. From what I've heard, Meghan had a lot of control over this so-called tour. She was desperate to choreograph, so to speak, the whole shebang. She could not bear the thought of all the criticism that she received after the Nigeria tour, so everything was controlled. From the media covering it to even the dance that they did, it had to be something that she could manage and not look stupid. And so it was carefully adapted so that they could practice it enough that just for a short while they could not look like complete clowns. Considering that Meghan so wanted to get it right this time, especially after the previous First Lady's comments about not wanting Hollywood nudity in Nigeria, you would think that Meghan's choice of clothing would have meant that she would have been more covered this time. But not really. Her shoulders actually did a grand entrance when she arrived wearing a halter neck outfit. And while she didn't show her bare back as in Nigeria, she couldn't resist the split up to the thigh, the keyholes and the spaghetti straps. Well, this Meghan-controlled wannabe royal tour has proved several things. One, that they don't need security because they can go to two of the most unsafe countries in the world without a care, even to the point of offending the locals and the country's leaders without worrying about their safety. Two, Harry has proven that he's still very much a spare, as he has allowed that role to stay on him in his marriage. You would think that having left the royal life and complaining about being the spare regarding being an heir to the throne, and that escaping this life with Meghan he would be the king of his own life, so to speak. But no, he is Meghan's spare. He's only fit to tag along, walk behind her, obey her orders and carry her handbag. And three, they could never have been successful as royals, even if the Queen had allowed them to do it their way, because they cannot bear any criticism of them. The late Queen could handle criticism, and also criticism of her whole family, but there is no way that Harry would ever be able to deal with that if he gets offended with someone just looking at him the wrong way. Now I'll leave you with some clips of the highlights of their trip. Let me have your comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Much love. Bye.